our 14th celebration of South Carolina Interfaith Harmony Month. Can you believe it? Now, since 2011, Interfaith Partners in South Carolina has held out a model of compassionate collaboration among people who differ in beliefs but embrace each other as fellow humans. We bring together people of diverse religious, spiritual, and secular paths throughout the state to cultivate relationships of friendship, respect, and trust among people of, there's that word again, diverse religions, building a more harmonious community. Yes, South Carolina is highly diverse, beautifully so. Renowned author and interfaith leader Eboo Patel points out that diversity is just a fact of life in America, and so it is here in South Carolina. Neither good nor bad. However, he notes that when it's left alone, it can lead to isolation as we congregate with our individual tribes, which he says can manifest in these 3 B's: a bunker, a barrier, or a bludgeon. So there's the bunker of isolation, primarily concerned with preserving one's own traditions. And that may cause you to be afraid or a little suspicious of somebody that's not in your fold. Then there's the barrier of division, where you may believe only your way is right. And instead of avoiding somebody different, you might insist that they're wrong and offensive and maybe even take some kind of action against them. And then at the extreme, there's the bludgeon of violence, unfortunately represented in a very small percentage, minority, in every religion. People in this kind of isolation may intentionally accentuate differences and silence and intimidate others. This is why Interfaith Partners exists. So you can see why I've often said that interfaith may someday save our lives. Some of you here have heard me say that before. We learn to see, because when we gather for shared meals, discussions, festivals, and services, we learn to see those not like us as fellow human beings. We even come to understand that diversity does not threaten our own beliefs at all, and that the differences among South Carolinians can be an asset to all our communities. Being interfaith can be challenging. It's definitely hard work and uncomfortable conversations since October 7th. And that's why we have to do the work. Humans are always going to disagree with each other about things that are deeply rooted in us, about which we're passionate. It's easy to click and like a social media meme or hold a sign. And during the very same years that I became involved with this organization, the public conversation has become shrill, angry, uncompromising, even hateful or threatening. So how do we begin to turn back the tsunami of discord? How do we learn the art of civil discourse, peaceful coexistence, and mutual cooperation for the good of all? I have friends on, shall we say, all sides of, for example, the current Gaza-Israel crisis. Did I mention that interfaith is hard work? It's not always easy. We can't solve every problem, but we can listen, learn from others not like ourselves, and express our unwavering love and compassion. It turns out everybody I've talked to since that terrible day have each had something valuable to teach me, but only because we had built relationships in which we knew how to have these conversations. Not only that, but in the process, we build a stronger state, a safer one, where difference does not have to mean division, or fear or anger. At this time, I'd like to ask our Vice Chair, Dr. Kamran Borhanian, to come forward.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm Kamran Borhanian. I am the Baha'i Faith representative to Interfaith Partners of South Carolina. And my story is a common story in America. My parents were subjects of religious persecution in Iran and applied for asylum to the United States of America. And my father, having heard the part of the Declaration, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. This is what attracted him to the United States. And then he charged his children with the task of being service to humanity, to bring about harmony between the different faiths, not to have a hateful or angry feeling towards those who persecuted us, but to love them and to bring them around. And in this way, I went to medical school and residency in Philadelphia and came to South Carolina and fell in love with the people of South Carolina, and have been of hopefully service to and had the privilege of being here for 35 years before I retired. And now I have turned my service to doing Interfaith Partners work. Today we have the privilege of having children from different faiths present the proclamation. Rhea from the Hindu faith, Selena and Alex Kasana from the Baha'i faith, and Joshua Gonzalez from the Christian faith. He's an exchange student from Ecuador, are going to read parts of the proclamation. I'll ask them to come forward and read. Thank you.
Whereas, throughout the history of our state and nation, we have welcomed people with diverse backgrounds and beliefs, many of whom were seeking relief from religious persecution, respecting their freedom to practice their faith without fear. And whereas advances in technology have transcended the barriers of time and distance, leading to the ground of social, economic, and cultural ties of the global community, as well as challenges in understanding and communicating with our international neighbors. And
open communication, mutual respect, common dignity, sincere understanding, and unilateral cooperation play a vital role in the promotion of peace and goodwill among all people and all nations. And whereas affirming our commitment to interfaith harmony, religious liberty, and tolerance for diverse traditions and beliefs contributes to our continued strength and prosperity.
Whereas, as a statewide partnership of many different religious and secular groups, the Interfaith Partners of South Carolina, along with their affiliates and their partner organizations, are working to be a statewide network of compassionate communities throughout the state, which transcends religious, ideological, and national differences. Now, therefore, I, Henry McMaster, Governor of the great state of South Carolina, do hereby proclaim January 2024 as South Carolina Interfaith Harmony. Throughout the state and encourage all South Carolinians to work together to foster appreciation for the different faiths, beliefs, and cultures found in the Palmetto State.
We want to thank everyone for coming. The media kit has got a current schedule of events in it. They're also posted on our website. We have one special event that I would like to mention that will be ours as opposed to our individual members. We're holding a virtual panel discussion with the Reverend Eric Manning from Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, with Rabbi Eric Myers from Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. Both of those congregations having experienced terrible tragedies. Our own Jonathan Leader from USC and Omar Shaheed, Imam in a local mosque. This will be on January 23rd at 7 o'clock. You can click at our website to register and get a link to join that, and we hope everyone will join. One of our member groups is also hosting watch parties that you can sign up for, and at this time we'll take questions.
With everything's going on in the world, how important are groups like this?
It seems to me, and maybe others here, that Americans, many of us have either forgotten how to have a conversation in which we disagree in a civil way and listen to each other at the same time. Now, it may be that most Americans are just being polite and quiet. We can't know that for sure, but we do know what gets the attention in public. And this is contributing to a malaise that I think is increasingly dangerous. I mean, we just saw a cross burning recently in Conway. Anybody else want to contribute to that?
Sure. I'm Jonathan Leader. I'm the Jewish representatives to the Interfaith Partners. So what we've been seeing is, to answer your question directly, yes, this is extraordinarily important. This is the type of thing that we need to be having across the state and frankly across the nation, which is the reaching out of individuals of good heart, of honesty, to have difficult conversations where the conversation is not intended necessarily to change the other person, but actually to listen to what they have to say, understand where we agree, understand where we may disagree, and do it with honesty and civility. And this is something which has become marginal in this society in many respects, in many places. People get their information from little bubbles. They live within little bubbles. They do not talk to people outside of their bubble. In many cases, they don't recognize there is another place outside their bubble. So this is a problem, both with every faith community, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, pick the group. I mean, I can list all of them and take the rest of the day. All of us, at one level or another, have been seeing issues arise over the last 10 or so years where people within the community have not listened, not been willing to talk, and have actually caused issues. The people who are causing issues are a minority, but they are amplified by the press. Every time you mention the name of a person who did something wrong, you get a copycat. Something to think about. It's one of the reasons why you don't mention the names of people who are engaged in shooting, for instance. We have issues of vandalism. We have issues of harassment on the street. Hundreds of percentage of them. All you have to do is take 2 seconds, go to the FBI, go to the Southern Poverty Law Center, go to ADL, go to CARE, go to a bunch of different groups, take one look at their webpage where they outline what's been happening, and you know there is an issue. And this group, which has now been around for a long time, started at the University of South Carolina, took off from there, has gone out of its way to be nonpartisan, non-political, and a safe location where people of good faith or no faith can have a conversation where we can talk to each other, listen to each other, and try to make it better. And for that, my community and myself, speaking only for myself, I am deeply grateful. Deeply grateful. Okay? And as far as the state goes, we all should be grateful for groups like this and others who are out there acting in good faith. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Holly and John, for those beautiful words. There's no denying the fact that this is the most difficult time. In recent history, we've seen other difficult times, but this is very, very difficult. My name is Chaudhary. I am President of DICNA, that's Peace and Integration Council of North America. So speaking for myself as well as my community by and large, one thing common in all of us is that we are people of faith, interfaith partners of South Carolina. So, yes, our hearts believe, yes, we are absolutely, sometimes at loss of words for what's been happening in the past couple of months. Yes, but again, coming back to faith, our Creator has a plan. We do not know. It's His divine wisdom that what we are going through, trials and tribulations. And the bottom line being that it's God's plan, and we must, as people of faith, must not lose hope. One thing I will stress, emphasize, and this is in of Islam as well as every major faith, that every life is precious. Every life is precious. We have been created, God Almighty says we've been created from one pair of male and a female, and we are one human family. And we are divided into nations and tribes so that we can know each other, not detest each other. So let's keep hope, let's inspire ourselves with this unity of faith, unity of commitment, and sacrificing patience as well as holding on to the best of the guiding principles that we've been taught and we try to practice. Thank you.
You're keeping politics out of it. What can the average person do, the average South Carolinian, to help to keep peace and connectivity among our community and faith?
Someone in our group shared a story with me years ago during one of our retreats. He wears a turban most of the time, and when 9/11 happened, he was standing in the driveway in front of his home, I think maybe children around, and he saw his neighbor come home and look over at him. And he said, in that moment, I realized, oh, he doesn't know I'm not a terrorist. And I said, no, it wasn't your fault. And I hope you don't want to But this still gives me shivers all these years later. He said, I realized they don't know I'm not a terrorist because I've never taken the time to get to be friends with them and get to know them. It's that simple. This may sound like a lot of woo-woo, and there's that. But what we're doing is we're getting to know each other. I feel like the people in this room have my back, even though I belong to a misunderstood minority religion. We all support each other here because we've taken time to get to know each other. So attending some of these events, some are in person, some are virtual. There is something in Aiken. I think there may be something in Myrtle Beach. The city of Charleston holds its own proclamation. Mayor Tecklenburg will have a ceremony in Chambers next week on the 3rd to announce Interfaith Harmony Month in Charleston. So just those simple acts can make a huge difference. And you're welcome to get on our email list so you can catch our announcements. Anything else? I'm sure that any of the people here would be happy to speak with you afterwards, if you care to. Do you, Clark, would you like to sing the affairs? Okay, not to that. All right. All right. In that case, thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you in the months to come at events.